tongue and I won't try this time. While you take the conversation, what's left is composure, but I'm losing all my patience. And when I try the line, it started last October. My confidence was standing, I would go swimming over again.
Fucking hell, man. So I've got to do like 5 miles an hour whenever I fucking drive down this road. Fuck. Sorry, it's part 2 of the Bloke Show UK. I'm your host, Stel. Unfortunately, Fosh isn't here again because he's probably feeding his cat or teaching it how to shit in a bit of plastic. I've just finished work, and the reason for my bitching is that I work right by Wembley Stadium, as I may have said in the previous show, and right where my office is, I'm on a place called Wembley Way, which is, I'd say, about 100 metres from the stadium, and it's a very famous part of Wembley because that's effectively when you come out of Wembley Park Station, you have to walk up Wembley Way to get to Wembley Stadium. And as folklore and, you know, history and tradition goes, Wembley and Wembley Way are 2 massive features of FA Cup final day, which to you guys that don't know anything about football or soccer, it's it's supposed to be the most important day of the British football calendar, but the way that sponsors and television has made it, they've kind of ruined it. But anyway, that's by the by. So I'd have to drive up Wembley Way to get onto the main road, but because obviously there's hundreds of people walking up and down because Wembley Park Station isn't too far away, I've got to do like 5 miles an hour, and I've got to have my fucking hazards on because it's classed as a fucking like pavement, which is stupid. So I'm driving at 5 miles an hour, there's people in front of me, can clearly see and fucking, or even if their back is turned, they can hear there's a car coming, and they don't fucking move out of the way. So I have to fucking flash and toot and whatever, and then they turn around, they give me fucking looks like I'm the one in the wrong. Like, bruv, you're standing in my fucking way, move. Would you like it if I drove on the pavement? No, you wouldn't. Dickheads, man. Fucking hell, that's a good way to start the show, isn't it? Yeah, so first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone that listened to the previous show. Thanks for the support that we received. Like I said, it was more of an impromptu show. I didn't expect to do it, but I thought, fuck it, I'm on my J's, so why not? Let's go for it. So yeah, and I received a lot of positive feedback, so thank you very much, everyone. That's brilliant. Before I start the show, because I've already started it anyway, but before I continue with this fucking monologue, just like to give a few quick plugs. Obviously, the Bloke Show, the original Bloke Show from AJ Maggot. Follow them on Twitter at TBSPod. They're on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow Dino Peppers and Boulamont's fantastic show, the highly recommended show, at The High Show on Twitter. They're on SoundCloud, iTunes. I think that's about it, really. Are they on Stitcher? I don't fucking know, but I listen to it through iTunes. Get them on iTunes. Who else? Wrestling Soup. My guy Anthony Mish, as he's known, heard my show the other day, loved it. So give his show a follow, at Wrestling Soup. You know what? I don't even know why I'm plugging this show, because he gets about 55,000 downloads a show, and here's me with like 40 listens on fucking YouTube. So you probably heard about this show through him anyway. I'm gonna fucking plug this guy's show, man. What else? Oh yeah, my own football show, Shoot the Defence, where I'm more professional and I'm reading from a script and actually getting a bit, you know, less of the swearing. Shoot the Defence. I'm on Stitcher, iTunes. Follow the show at Shoot the Defence. If you like football, soccer, there you go. That's me. So anyway, where am I now? I'm about to get back on that A406 road, man. That A406. Fuck. I swear to God, I actually spend more time on the A406 than I do with my family. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, really and truly, I was thinking about it the other day, like, they were doing roadworks, they were fixing some bridge, which is quite close to the turn-off, which takes me to my office. And since they were doing it, they did it for 2 months, and instead of it taking me normally like 45 minutes an hour to get to work, it's taking me an hour and a half, 2 hours. Oh, fucking hell, man. Like, just one guy, like, decided, let's fix this fucking bridge, and they just moved all the lanes across. They had, like, oncoming lane coming towards you, and fucking it's like they've got no sense of organisation in this country, man. I don't even know, like, do they have, like, I know Eastern Europeans are really good builders and they're known for it. It's a stereotype. But are all of these workers like Eastern European and they think, well, you know, in my country I drive on the right hand side, so I build the road. I don't even know what they're fucking thinking. Like, seriously. But fuck, I don't know. So yeah, I spend more time on this A406 than I do my missus, and I think like I'm filling up the car more than once a week now. So normally I put like £40 and the car fills up and it can last me a week. But since I've been driving up and down, I know it's obvious because you're sitting more in traffic and you're going to be using more petrol. I know it's obvious, not that thick, but when you think about it, like, how much petrol do you actually use sitting in traffic? It's ridiculous. Like, I filled the car up Sunday and it's, what, Thursday today? And I'm not even on the quarter mark yet, and I've been doing the same fucking route, same journey every fucking day. So clearly, obviously, this fucking traffic in the morning has killed my petrol, and basically fucking I'm shitting money like left, right, and centre because of this fucking shit. Anyway, so I'm actually getting to work at a reasonable time now, which is good. And yeah, I'm just hoping I'm not going to get hit with any traffic. So, but then again, when I get caught in traffic, I get all kinds of fucking ideas and I start chatting shit. And now I'm recording it, so you can actually hear my thoughts, which I actually fucking don't mean anything to you. But at the same time, some of you probably find this amusing. But anyway, I've printed off some interesting headlines from the news today. Well, not today, but over the past couple of days. But I'm going to try and do this while I'm driving. I'm not meant to be reading shit while I'm driving, so I've got a bit of paper here on the passenger side in case there's any police officers listening. Listen, the passenger side, bit of paper, so don't be pulling me over for nothing, okay? Anyway, oh look, and just as I say this, fucking lorry pulls out in front of me. Like, I'm about to pick up this bit of paper and start reading and almost crash into a fucking lorry. There you go. See, that would have been perfect, wouldn't it? First ever podcast where a guy is doing it in the car and he crashes. Never seen, never heard. Anyway, so the first story. A man uses a hoverboard and he steals a crate of drinks from a London shop. Now, hoverboard, by that, the person who wrote this article, the reporter, obviously didn't mean like Marty McFly fucking hoverboards. He means those fucking Segway things. You know what these things are, don't you? What do they call them? They call them rideables. Fucking rideable. It's a skateboard with bigger wheels and that's electric. And you charge it. That's all it is. And it's made out of plastic. That's all it is. And it costs you a bag of sand. That's £1,000, £1,000. That's a Cockney in me talking now. A bag of sand, £1,000. A bag of sand for a bit of plastic that you charge. And it gets you, what, up and down the pavement? You can walk faster. And I'm not trying to be funny, but these days you hear about all these government campaigns about how kids are obese these days and how, you know, parents should really look at the nutritional value of food and look at the fat and sugar content, and kids should be encouraged to do more exercises. And, you know, you hear all these kind of things, man, like kids need to be doing more exercises and doing more sports at school so they lose weight and don't become obese. But here you go, fucking encouraging them to use these fucking things that use your fucking legs, man. And for this guy to go into a shop and nick a crate of drinks and get out, he was spotted on CCTV as well. So it's not as if there was no one there watching or there was no evidence or whatever. So he just walked in and then, well, it's just hovered in and then just hovered out with this crate of drinks in his hand. I'm thinking, these things only go like 10 miles an hour. It's not as if you're doing 30, 40 miles an hour, ripping it up and down the pavement, or you can get on the fucking road and use this thing. So I'm thinking, raw, like, who was actually working in the shop at the time? Was it like an 80-year-old guy that was on a Zimmer frame that couldn't get up and chase the guy out? Like, where do you think you're going? Come back! Ah. So what? And he got away. The guy got away, so they're looking for him now, and that made the news. I'm like, all right, okay, fair enough. Maybe there's some incompetent person working at the store, or someone that was supposed to be manning the CCTV and didn't notice. But fucking no, that's ridiculous. That is literally like an old man going into the shop in a wheelchair and just like coming away with drinks and not being cool. But then I'm thinking, all right, fair enough. You know the old saying is like, if you can get away with robbing a bank, then good on ya. Well done. You know, so obviously this kid has gone in. He's been the opportunist. He's found this crate of drinks, and he's done away with it. But then I was thinking, well, is there more to it? Is there more to it? And I'm reading further. The man has used a rider ball to steal a crate of Lucozade. Lucozade. Now I'm thinking, Lucozade, of all the drinks that you could have nicked a crate of, Lucozade. A bottle of pop. Fizzy drink, non-alcoholic. If this guy was a teenager, which I presume he was, there isn't any information on it, but I've seen the CCTV and he looks like a kid. So, I'm thinking when I was 17, 18, what did I drink back then? I wanted to do all the things that we weren't allowed to do, like drinking alcohol. 14, 15, 16, 17. Once you're 18, drinking alcohol is boring. You can do it legally, and it's, yeah, I'll do it with my mates, I'm going to get pissed and this and that, and then you've got the whole drinking culture and you're having a laugh with your mates. But the whole fun aspect of it is drinking when you're underage. So I'm thinking, if this guy is like under 18 and he's gone in there, I'm thinking the first thing he's got to go for is the booze. You've gone into a shop, it's an off license as well, so they sell alcohol. So my guy's gone in there with his 10-mile-an-hour fucking Segway, and he's come away with a crate of Lucozade. That must have been some ridiculous party you had there, man. Seriously, what kind of, like, did you have? You must have had the munchies. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, he must have had the munchies. He must have been stoned. He must have been smoking a bit of weed and whatnot, or skunk or whatever, and he probably thought, I'm high, I'm going to get on my Segway, because that's effectively what a Segway is, and let's be honest. A Segway is for people to get stoned and just use. So where was I? Anyway, yeah, so this kid, he must have just thought, fuck it, I'm stoned, I'm going to get on my hoverboard, and I'm going to go get some munchies. But geezer, you've gone in there. At least get the drinks last. Go in there, get some quavers, get some chocolate raisins, get some chocolate peanuts, get some popcorn, get, I don't know, like anything. But come away with something else, unless he already had that stuff, or he was going to go somewhere else to get it. But yeah, he uses the fucking hoverboard to nick Lucozade when you could have, I don't know, but listen, he got away, he's got away with it obviously till now. I don't know if his mum or whatever's going to see it and grass him up. But that'd be fuckery, can you imagine, like, your mum sees you on the TV, like, you stole Lucozade. I'm not going to spend another £1,000 on you next Christmas. Alright, let me have some of this protein shake, because I haven't been to the gym today. Nice. Chocolate and peanut flavoured protein. Hear that? Lovely. Put a few porridge oats in there as well, thicken it. Right. Story number 2. Plus size model attacks Asian community for body shaming. This is from the BBC again. Award-winning plus size model Bishamba Das has attacked the culture of body shaming within the Asian community. Ms. Das says criticising women and girls for their body shape can have devastating impacts on their lives. She hopes to use her success to encourage larger girls to have a healthier body image. Now, I've seen this woman. I've just seen a picture of her. She's a big girl. Not that big is bad. She hopes to use her success. Okay, I've never heard of this woman before. I presume you know, a lot of Asian people will know who she is because, you know, she must be famous from Bollywood or whatever the fuck she's doing. But this whole thing about fat shaming in the Asian community, now I don't know anything about this, so I'm going to try and relate it to the community that I'm aware of, and that's the Greek community, because obviously that's where my background is. Stel isn't short for Stel, it's short for Stelios, which is a shit name, and I hate my parents for giving me that name. And every time I start a new job, every time I meet someone that I tell them what my name is, and they're like, oh, Stelios, is that the guy from EasyJet? Oh, you must be related to him. Well, technically, I probably am. Because coming from Cyprus, which is where he's from, we're all related in some capacity. Or we know each other's families in some capacity. I wouldn't be surprised if his granddad probably came from the same village as my great-granddad. So yeah, whenever people say to me, oh, is that Stelios from EasyJet? I'm like, yeah, it is. I ain't got the same waist size as him, but I don't have as much money as him either. If I did, would I be talking to you? No, I wouldn't. If I had the money that Stelios from EasyJet has, I wouldn't even be in this country. Much as, just like him. I would probably be somewhere like Dubai, chilling, having butlers and everything I need. Because that guy's got money. So yeah, he's got a shit name, but he's got money. Remember that, yeah? And it's no surprise that since he sold EasyJet, the company's gone down the shitter. They're shit. Yeah? The low-cost airline of the year, Ryanair. And their customer service is even worse. So that should tell you about EasyJet right there. Cussing the guy's name. So anyway, relating it to the Greek community, because yeah, us Greeks, Cypriots, we're known for having the big behinds. Okay, I'm not talking about all of the Greeks, but there's a large, pardon the pun, there's a large majority of them that have got. And look, I've got a bit of a big backside as well, but I'm a 36 waist, so I can get away with it. 6'1", 36 waist. I can pull it off, as my missus says. So anyway, yeah, this whole fat shaming thing, that, again, I don't know what that entails. I just presume it's old ladies and grandfathers and grandmothers and uncles saying, oh, you're too fat. You're too fat. No one's going to want to marry you. You know, men or women don't like fat people, and you need to go on a diet. And what are you eating? Yada, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang about, if that's exactly what they're saying. And again, I'm relating it to the Greek community because that's the only way I can see it. And I know full well that the Greek community is very, very similar to the Asian community. Okay? Because I've got a friend called Raj, and whenever I go to his house, his mum is like, Stel, have something to eat. Have something to eat. And it's not just her saying like, Stel is a fat guy and he needs to eat because he's got a big stomach. No. It's because they're polite. You have something to eat, they put more food on your plate. That's just their culture. It's the same with the Greek culture. Ask my friends, my non-Greek friends, that whenever they used to go to my mum and dad's house, they sit down. And mum would be like, do you want something to eat? Okay, auntie, no problem. So I'm putting something to eat. My mum takes their plate away, comes back with another one. They're like, rah, what's this? I'm like, it's called seconds. What do you mean seconds? What it means is that I don't need to take it to work the next day. Yeah? It means I can go and get my own lunch the next day. So eat the fucking food, man. I don't want to have leftovers tomorrow. As much as my mum's food is nice, it's not the same when you put it in the microwave, is it? Let's be honest. So anyway, I can only assume that these Asian girls or Asian men that are having the piss ripped out of them by their families is probably because their families are feeding them too much. So instead of sitting there and blaming your kids and your nieces and nephews and grandchildren for being too fat or whatever, don't feed them. Yeah, it's up to them, and it's not about putting a gun to their head and saying you've got to eat. It's up to them to say no. But let's be honest, if you've taught them from a young age that eating a lot is acceptable and is normal, of course they're going to keep on eating it. It's like a fucking drug dealer, a drug user. When a drug user starts using that shit at a young age, then they keep on using it because they don't know better. It's the same goes with food. You keep filling that kid's plate up with fucking bhajis and mango chutney and fucking rice and all that kind of stuff that you guys eat. Of course they're gonna, and you give them rice as well, the fucking carbs. You give them the worst food possible. You ain't fattening them up on fucking proteins, man. You're giving them carbs. I've seen the fucking lamb curries. Lamb is one of the fucking saltiest meats, man. You give them that. Rice. Pilau rice. You give them the fucking thick rice as well. Okay, it's the same with the Greeks. Greek food is fattening. We use fucking salt with everything. We put salt on our cheese. Like, I'm not even joking. You go to Cyprus, even out here, you have halloumi. You guys must have heard of halloumi, or you guys call it halloumi. Halloumi, that white cheese. The Greeks have it with fucking cucumbers and tomatoes. And they put salt on everything. Halloumi's cheese. It's gonna be fattening. So there you go. Fuck. So yeah, parents, aunties, uncles, grandparents, instead of sitting there cussing your kids and the younger kids in your family and fucking up their confidence, don't feed them too much. Give them healthy stuff. You see, it's people like you that are making these fucking dating companies money. Because it's people with low self-esteem that go on these fucking websites. Not because they can't find people. Because there's millions of people in the street. You can pull a person by meeting them on the street. You could do it. You could pull a person by meeting them in a supermarket. It's possible. It happens. But it's people with confidence that can do it. If you ain't got confidence, then you're going to be using dating sites. When I hear people saying, oh, I can't meet a person. You can meet a person. But you ain't got the confidence to fucking approach the people that you're attracted to. Hence the reason why people go on these dating websites and chat rooms and all that kind of shit. Because you're basically talking to a screen. You're typing. They can't see your facial expressions. When you type in LOL, are you really laughing out loud? 99% of the time you're not. But you're doing it because it's a defense mechanism. It's a force of habit. And you're making the other person think that, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I find you funny. There's no point in laughing at someone's jokes if you don't find them funny. There's no point in laughing at someone's jokes just to make them feel better about themselves. But that's effectively what you guys are doing by running your family members into the ground. Now, youngsters these days, it's a different kettle of fish though. Back in their day, I'm talking the older people's generation, that was probably the mentality. Like, why would you want to date someone that's overweight? Why would you want to marry someone that's overweight? Look at them. Look at them. Look how your kids are going to end up. If the daughter looks like her mum and her mum is a fucking whale, then she's going to end up being a whale. That was the mentality back in the day. Yeah, fair enough, these days, you know, people have opened their eyes, and you know, you still got the ignorant people out there that you know, are against fat people and whatnot. But really and truly, times have changed. So this woman, whatever her name is, what is it? Bishamba. Okay, I see what she's doing. She's trying to be nice and trying to do the right thing, and but at the same time, is she trying to raise her profile outside Asia? I mean, she's a big woman. And there aren't that many famous big women these days that are still alive or still on television. Apart from Kim Kardashian, who, I don't care, she's fat. I don't care what anyone says. You can't tell me that Kim Kardashian isn't fat. Okay? Look at the size of her ass. Look at the size of her ass. If she wasn't sucking people off in fucking pornos, homemade pornos, you wouldn't be saying nothing about Kim Kardashian these days. You'd be saying, oh, she's this, she's that, she's a fat cow, she's this, she's that. But because she's married to Kanye West, because, you know, people jumped on the bandwagon, she's not fat. She's an ambassador for women. How is she an ambassador for women? How? For which woman? Which woman sees Kim Kardashian? Which woman with any self-esteem or any self-respect sees Kim Kardashian as a role model? What? How? It doesn't make sense. So Bishamba, you need to fucking start sorting shit out first, man. Talk to your own parents. Speak to them first. Find out why you are a plus-size woman. Don't start pointing the finger at other people. Point the finger at your family first. Because they're probably the reason why you are that size anyway. That's real talk right there. Next story. This is from the Metro. The Metro, as they say up north. Now, the Metro is a newspaper. It's a free newspaper that they give away in train stations and this and that. And they make their money by basically selling adverts. That's pretty much it, by advertising. It's a shit newspaper. And to be honest, their website is just as bad. It's probably, no, tell a lie, that's taking the piss out of the paper. The Metro website is an abomination. It's an embarrassment. You know, I've heard some stories and I've read some shit stories in the past, but that newspaper takes the fucking piss. And I don't know whether their journalists are just like freelance, or whether they're just doing it for attention or trolling or whatever, or to get extra shares or likes on social media, but oh my fuck, it is awful. But this story intrigued me. And the reason why it intrigued me is because it's got something to do with that little kid from fucking One Direction. Now, I'm not a One Direction fan. I know a couple of their songs. That's what make you beautiful, or something like that. But yeah, so this one of these members, Niall Horan, the Irish kid. I know he's the Irish kid because he's the only one that talks with an Irish accent. So obviously he's going to be Irish. He's not going to be Zayn because he's gone, isn't he? And blatantly he's gone because, you know, he's probably doing some other stuff in the background. You know, he to me, out of all of the One Direction guys, he looked the most shady. And it's not because he's the Asian one. It's not because he's the Muslim one. No. It's just that, look at his demeanour, the way that he was behaving. And like, even when One Direction first got together, I seem to remember watching X Factor when Simon Cowell put them together. He was the only one that didn't really want to make an effort. So you knew from that day he had a fucking attitude. So he's the one, he was the first one that left. And he's probably the one that's doing bits on the side. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing his own. Anyway, I'm not going to say nothing because I'm going to get sued here. Because what I'm going to say is relating to this story. Now, this Niall Horan, according to the Metro, has won the first round of his case against a tabloid newspaper for insinuating he used hard drugs. The paper reported a drug storm surrounding the singer after it was claimed he'd been pictured near drug paraphernalia during a night out with Justin Bieber. Drug paraphernalia. So what, he was seen around drugs? So that means they assume that he was using it and they printed it. Listen, this story, and I'll tell you what, the newspaper, which they didn't mention, is the Daily Star. Now, the Daily Star is toilet paper. I wouldn't even, you know what, I wouldn't even wipe a dog's ass with that fucking newspaper. I wouldn't even wipe Bin Laden's ass with a newspaper. I wouldn't even wipe anyone in ISIS's ass with that newspaper. Because let me tell you what, this is the newspaper. I just went online to look at the Daily Star website and I clicked on the news section and there were 5 stories, 5 headlines. The first was about the floods up north where, you know, people are obviously homeless. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking, yeah, brilliant, cool. They might be just cleaning up their act a bit now, because before it was stories about aliens raping dogs and shit and all kind of stupid stories. I look further down, there's another story. It's about Becky Watts' murder. Apparently, the killer of the lady the killer of the kid has launched a conviction appeal. Okay, that's relevant. It's newsworthy. And I see the United States are launching, what's it called? Stealth warships. Alright. Okay. Real talk now. Proper stuff that's going to affect the world. You know, you got people losing their homes because, you know, Mother Nature's having she's on the time of the month, so she's pissed off and she's flooding people's houses, making them homeless, drowning people, killing families. Then you got some fucking lunatic that murdered a kid and he's fucking launching an appeal for what? And then you got the United States fucking weighing in to fucking start, you know, waging their war on terrorism, even though they probably fucking started it anyway. But then I look at the other stories. Strictly Stars, James and Ola Jordan are planning to have a baby. Strictly Stars. Now, I don't know if they've got Strictly Come Dancing in Australia and in America, but we've got it out here and it's fucking huge. It's basically celebrities teaming up with professional dancers to do ballroom dancing. and they get judged on it. And this competition goes on for ages. Like, literally, like, I think it's been like 3 months already. And they're not even in the final yet. So these two people, I think they must have got together and they got married. Because, that James, is he the dancer? Or I think Ola's the dancer, definitely. The fucking Russian woman. Yeah, most of these dancers are Russian or Ukrainian. So yeah, she was the dancer and he was a celebrity. Fuck knows what he does. But they're having a baby. How is that even newsworthy? How? These people haven't been... This James was on television, was it last year? On Celebrity Big Brother. Was that even him? I'm trying to look at his photo. Was that even him? Yeah, he was on Big Brother like last year. Was it even the year before he was on Big Brother? Celebrity Big Brother. He's been off our screens for a year, and all of a sudden he's having a kid with his missus, and that's worth a story. But that wasn't the one that pissed me off. That was just like, oh, well, that's just typical of this country because they got nothing else to print. Madonna performed spontaneous Paris peace sing-along at Le République Memorial. Fucking Madonna again. When is this woman gonna fucking die? Seriously. You're like 70 years old. You've had your time. Your time was in the 80s. Fuck off. And why are you even turning up in Paris? Anyway, what has Paris got to do with you? You turn up at the memorial and start singing. Now, what is that telling you? What is that telling the world? Is that telling the world that Madonna actually gives a shit about Paris? Or is that telling the world that Madonna's got a new album coming out or a single and she wants to promote it? Because that's what it stinks of to me. Listen, Madge, you were loved in the UK. People still love you in the UK. You were married to fucking Guy Ritchie. But that's it. You're done. You're finished. You were finished years ago. You fell off the stage. You stepped on your fucking cape. Yeah? And you fell off the stage. And that should have been it for your career. When people are falling off stages, yeah, at 60 years old, that's when you call it a day. I've seen Ollie Murs fall off a stage. I've seen Peter Andre fall off a stage. But Madge, you're a pensioner, love. You should be at home playing drafts or chess or watching Emmerdale with your Bovril or your hot chocolate with a fucking... with a blanket and with your dogs or whatever sat beside you and whatever. You should be sitting there listening to like BBC Radio 3. You shouldn't be out in France doing little performances to let people know that you're there or let people know that you're still relevant or that you exist. Now, if anything I don't even want to think about this, but if anything ever happened to my family or any member of my family and it was terrorist related, and I'm at the memorial and this fucking bat turns up and she starts singing, and the thing is, she wasn't even singing a cappella. Like, the photograph has got a guy with a guitar, so obviously this was planned. I don't know anyone that turns up to a memorial with a guitar. I've been to memorials. No one sits there, plays fucking music or beatboxes. Boom-ch, 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 my brethren's dead. Boom-ch, boom-ch, wanting to come back. I don't know. It doesn't happen. So clearly, it's a stunt. It's a publicity stunt. And this fucking cunt makes the fucking headlines. And I know it's the Daily Star. I know I shouldn't be fucking delving into it too much because it's the Daily Star. But still, man, really, that's a disrespect right there. If that was my family, I'd be losing my shit. I'd be there. I'd fucking go for her. Bodyguards or no bodyguards or minders, I'm going for this woman. Why are you here? Why are you here? Nothing happened to you. Nothing happened to your family. And really and truly, Madge, right? If anything, you're stirring the pot. Because you follow that Kabbalah religion, don't you? Which is, forgive me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably way off basis, so correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sorry if I offended one. Isn't that something to do with Judaism? I could be wrong. I'm not, again, forgive me if I'm wrong, and forgive me if I'm offending anyone, but hasn't this Kabbalah got something to do with Judaism? I'm quickly doing a Google search Kabbalah, Judaism. There you go. So she's stirring the pot. Whether it be unintentionally or not, she's stirring the pot. Leave it out, Madge. She's American as well. So that just makes things even worse, because obviously ISIS are pissed off with the Americans and the British and the French. So this fucking thing about, oh, you know, I'm back in France. Yeah, wicked. You've done it already. You've done it at one of your shows anyway. You've done the whole, you know, pray for Paris and crying your eyes out fucking thing. Why are you even at the memorial? Stop it. Seriously, that is taking attention seeking to next levels. I'm offended by that. Fuck off. Seriously. I mean, what would have made matters worse? I think what would have made matters worse if Kanye West was there. Can you imagine Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, all of them lot there? Donald Trump, can you imagine if Donald Trump was at this fucking memorial thing? That would be... Anyway. Let's have a look. I'll have some more of this lovely protein shake. One big swig. Wonderful. Now I'm currently in a place called Muswell Hill. I've taken a shortcut. That's the thing about London and shortcuts. There's no such thing as a shortcut, because a shortcut always seems to be the long way around. See, I could have stayed on the A406 and stayed in traffic and probably got to where I want to go quicker than the route I've taken. I thought, let me turn off and go side roads and yada yada yada. But as it turns out, I've ended up in even more traffic, and I'm stuck behind a bus, which makes it even worse. No, actually no, that doesn't make it worse. What makes it even worser, if that's even a word, even worse, anyway, is if that bus was a W bus. Now, out here we've got normal like buses like 34, 127, 329, whatever. But then we've got W buses, and these are hopper buses. They're not double deckers. They're not the big ones that you guys are used to seeing like on television or whatnot. These are just, in fact, they look like the fucking buses that are in America. Yeah, just like they look like the buses that are like in America. They're like the coaches. They're just one level. And yeah, the W buses stop anywhere. They actually stop anywhere. Like, all you need to do, if you're on that bus, there's a bell that you press, and it stops at the earliest opportunity. And that fucks me off. Especially when you're on a road full of speed humps. You're already trying to take care and not fucking emergency brake or do whatever. And then these fucking cunts hit the skids, man. And you're like, rah, you are on a fucking madness. Different fucking madness. Now, I don't have a problem with bus drivers. I don't have a problem with them at all. They're just trying to make money. They've got, you know, families to provide for or whatnot. So I don't blame them. I blame the people that make the fucking rules, because it's the people that make the fucking rules that that means that these guys get a hard time. Like, for instance, they've done away with giving cash on the bus now. You can't pay for your fare on the bus. Before you used to. I remember when I first started using the bus, man, we're talking like 20 odd years ago, man. I was like 15, 20p to get on the bus. 20p to get on the bus. I haven't got on the bus in ages, but now you have to use what they call the Oyster card. And the Oyster card is basically a top-up. It's like a pay-as-you-use card, and you can use it anywhere in London, on London Underground and Transport for London and whatnot. You can use it. It's basically you top it up with credit, and then it eats away at it whenever you use it. But you have to use it on the bus. Now, what happens if, say, for example, you drop your Oyster card? Or you forget it at home? What are you going to do? You can't get on the fucking bus. And the amount of times I've heard stories and I've read Facebook statuses from friends who have got on the bus and they're like, fuck, they didn't let me pay with cash. So I gave it to the bus driver. I gave him what for? Why? The guy is only doing his job. The guy is only doing his job. It's like when you go to the supermarket and the guy is at the till. He's only jumped on the till or she's only jumped on the till to help out because there's other queues and he's jumped on to help out. And he's put on that sign that says closing. And people start putting their fucking stuff on the conveyor belt. And he's like, sorry, I'm closing. And they're telling me like, well, oh, it's only got a few bits. No, sorry, I'm closing. But it's only a few bits. It doesn't matter. The guy's closing. He's got other shit to do. Why don't you understand? He's not there to work on the fucking cash register. He's not there to work on the fucking till. He's there to help because there's other queues. Because other people, such as yourself, fucking load the fucking trolley full of shit which you're probably not even going to use. Probably going to go to waste and end up throwing it away. Fuck. What's wrong with people, man? Alright, so one more story before I wrap this up and post it. This is another fuckery story because I don't know, again, I don't know whether this was to get more likes on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, because I know full well that this earned this woman about 6,500 retweets. Something ridiculous, man. A lady dyed her hair. Sounds normal, right? Why is that newsworthy? Well, she dyed her hair and she used an Asda carrier bag instead of a dye cap on her head. Again, why is that newsworthy? Why is that even relevant? A woman uses a carrier bag from a supermarket instead of a cap to dye her hair. Now listen, I've never dyed my hair before. I've never heard of women using caps to dye their hair before. Look, how the fuck am I supposed to? Like I said before, I'm not a metrosexual. I don't know about shit like this. So when I hear about women doing unconventional things to their hair to make themselves look good, it doesn't surprise me. I know girls, right? This is honest truth. I know girls who have, instead of using straighteners for their hair, they've put their hair on a fucking wooden top or like a fucking, excuse me, or even like an ironing board and use an iron to straighten their hair. Honest truth, I've seen that shit happen and I've heard shit like that happening. I've heard of women using Tipex instead of white paint on their nails. I've heard of women using super glue to glue broken nails back on. And I'm not even talking about the acrylic shit that they use. I'm talking about a legit nail. So why does a woman using a carrier bag not surprise me on her head? Well, the reason why it's newsworthy is because she was using an Asda bag, which is white, and Asda is written in green. Asda is owned by Walmart, for those of you who don't know. Yeah? And what happened was, somehow, the fucking paint from the bag ended up on her hair. So she had the word Asda almost fucking printed onto her hair. Now again, I don't know whether that was intentional or whether there's a piss take, because there is no way that a woman would have done that if she didn't know what was going to happen. Because those Asda bags, let me tell you something, those Asda bags, especially the ones that they've been using recently since the new 5p rule has come in, and the 5p rule is basically these supermarkets are charging people 5 pence for a bag. Ever since they brought in these 5p rules, these Asda bags have got thicker, but the plastic's got thicker. The ink hasn't, the printing hasn't, but the bags have. So I'm thinking she must have used these Asda bags before. She must have done it before. She must have used a different Sainsbury's or Tesco or Morrison's bags and other supermarkets. And this has happened. So I'm thinking, is it intentional? Or did she actually do it, like, in the sense of, did she actually get the bag and just did it on it? I don't fucking know. It just doesn't make sense to me. You hear about these things happening, but something like this sounds so staged. It's unbelievable, you know? But here's the thing about women. Like I said before on the last show, they'll do anything, like, to make themselves look good. They'll go through any kind of pain to make themselves look decent or attractive. Now, see, my missus first thing in the morning, right? She gets ready for work. It could be -5 degrees, -5 degrees out there, yeah? and she's going out there with like a normal work dress, but you know, she's revealing her legs, which I've got no problem with. She ain't wearing socks, you know, and I'm like, aren't you cold? She's like, yeah, but I want to look good. I'm like, what? But you're only going underground. Wear a long jacket or something, or wear trackies, and then when you get to work, take them off. You don't start till like 9 o'clock. You get to work an hour and a half early. Wear something warm, so when you get, you know, when you're traveling or whatever, you don't freeze to death, for fuck's sake. And she wonders why she gets ill in the winter. I don't understand. She sits there coughing. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Oh, nothing. I think I'm coming down with something. Well, yeah, because you fucking wear next to nothing when you go out. And it's like snowing. You're like Bambi on ice when it's frozen over. And you're fucking wearing skirts and whatnot when you're going to work. Every woman does it though. Not just my missus. Every woman does it. I don't understand. You go out clubbing. Like women up north, in places like Newcastle. I see photographs. They might as well be going out with their fucking bikinis. It's like minus 10. Like I'm walking around in a fucking Eskimo jacket. And they're walking around like fucking beach models and shit. What's wrong with you? Right. I think that'll be it for me actually, because I've gone on for just over 40 minutes and I'm going to have to do a bit of editing later on. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this latest edition of The Bloke Show. I'm hoping, again, that Fosh is going to be ready sometime soon. It's not going to be like this all the time. And you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise, and I'm not going to be shouting as much because I'm going to be with Fosh in a room in an orderly manner, and it'll be a bit more structured. But again, thanks for the support that we've received so far. Follow us on Twitter at The Bloke Show UK, all in one word. And that's it. Later.